Hi, this is David. I've had a couple of people write me, and one person called me yesterday and asked me this question. They said, David, when we take the tip of our tongue and touch it to the inside of our lower teeth, or even a little bit lower, as you sometimes recommend, are we supposed to do that all of the time or just for the French R? And the answer is all of the time. This is not what French people do, but it's what you and I, as English speakers learning French, need to do to make our French easy to pronounce. So if we take the tip of our tongue and we touch it to our lower teeth, or even a little bit lower on that little ridge below our lower teeth, and then we roll the tongue forward, all of our French becomes easier to pronounce. So this person on the phone yesterday was asking me specifically about words that have RI in them, like the word for rice, du riz, and the word for to arrive, arriver. So she said, how do I pronounce that RE sound? So she said, how do I pronounce that RE sound? And so I said, okay, so take the tip of your tongue, touch it to the, this for arriver, touch it to that little ridge below your lower teeth, and I'll show a diagram up here over my shoulder. And then when I ask you to roll your tongue forward, here's what I mean. If I look into your mouth, I shouldn't see black space. I should see your pink tongue making a vertical wall in the front of your mouth. So I have the camera a little bit closer today than normally. What I should see is this type of thing. Look for the pink tongue. You can see what's really the middle of the top of my tongue there. Because I have my tongue rolled forward so that there's just a narrow gap between the roof of my mouth and the top surface of my tongue. And this is also where I'm going to make the T, the D, the N, the L sound by touching the middle of my tongue to that little ridge up in the roof of my mouth. I do all of this not because French people do this necessarily, but because it helps me as an English speaker keep my tongue forward and make the R sound correctly at the back. And it also helps me keep my tongue a little bit closed. The gap for the air to pass is a little bit narrow. That's what I need to think about. And that helps me speak French, and it helps me echo recordings of native speakers when I'm working on my accent. So what I want you to avoid is doing something else with your tongue, doing what a native speaker normally would do, which a native English speaker normally would do, which is take the tip of your tongue and bring it back a little bit to make the R sound. Like if you say red, red, and you feel where your tongue is, red. For me, my tongue is pulled back a little bit from the front teeth and almost touching that little ridge in the roof of my mouth, red. If you do that and then try to make the French R, you're going to make the sound that I normally hear when native English speakers make the R sound. They make an English R and then a French R just afterwards, after they've moved their mouth into position. But with a word like rice, you need to make the R right at the beginning. There needs to be an immediate R sound. And so to do that, I shouldn't hear this type of thing. Du riz, du riz, du riz. There I hear an English R followed by a scraping sound in the back of the throat. What I should hear is an immediate R sound right from the beginning. Du riz, du riz, du riz. Hopefully you hear that there's no hesitation. It's not du riz, du riz, du riz, du riz. It's du riz. So the R is immediate. And the way I make that R immediate is by already having my tongue in position, already rolled forward, so that the back of the tongue can make the right sound. And for a word like arriver, 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 I need to be thinking of the R, the tongue is being pushed forward. So it's in the position, it's there all the time, and it doesn't move. And what I'm thinking about as I'm speaking French is keeping that tongue rolled forward so that the gap above the top surface of my tongue, the gap between the top surface and the roof of my mouth is very narrow. And for the RI sound, we also discussed this a little bit on phone. I'm going to widen my tongue out a little bit so that the sound can't flow to the side of my tongue. I don't know if you can see, but I'm widening it out. Du riz, du riz, du riz. So when you go into the bathroom for just a minute and look at yourself in the mirror, and make sure you can see the top of your tongue there. Du riz, du riz. Hopefully that helps, and let me know if you have questions about this. I'm always looking for new ways to explain this, and I'm looking for new ways to think about it for myself. The last question, I forgot this, she said to me, oh, you know, it sounds a little bit like an H. And I agree with her. The French R does often sound like an H because there's a little breath of air coming out. Du riz, du riz, du riz. You can hear a little breath. It does sound like an H many times. Anyway, that's it, and have a nice day.